guys. We are from a team here talking about the progress of Japan and Hong Kong applying to the Akamatsu Flying Geese economic models. I am Hannah and I hope you find this video helpful. Let's begin. The Akamatsu Flying Geese is a development model from within Asia. It was developed in the 19th century with data about textile in Japan, but was only published after World War II to explain how Asian countries will reach the development levels of Western countries. The Flying Geese Paradigm is an economic model coined by Akamatsu Kinem in the 19th century, but its theory only gained recognition in the 1960s, right after it was published in the Journals of Developing Economics. Akamatsu describes wave of development that last between 20 till 60 years and are based on comparative advantage. However, waves are a lot shorter now depending on the industry because it is more competitive. According to the economic models, the leader of Asian development is Japan, and other nations will follow by cooperating with the manufacturing of goods. Thus, the manufacturing of goods would continuously flow from the more advanced country to the less advanced one. In short, the model suggests development is only possible if countries start manufacturing goods. So if other Asian nations cooperate with Japan, Japan will have the country to develop and get rich too. So now let's take a deeper inspection of the wave of the Akamatsu economic models. As observed in the graph below, we can identify 5 different indicator comparative advantage for a particular country. So from the first wave to the fifth wave is textile, followed by chemical, the iron and steels, automobiles, and electronic or electrical. Respectively, Japan's first manufacturing activity was centered on textile productions. They started with low-cost production, low skills, and simple product, but the rise of textile manufacturing in other less developed countries caused the textile value in Japan to decrease, so Japan shifted to higher and more complex products. Japan began producing chemicals such as fertilizer, paint, and oil. This production required chemists' involvement, and it takes an extended time to train a chemist, which results in.
Hi, my name is Kimla, and I will proceed to explain the topic. After the second wave, Japan moved into the third wave of the model, which is the production of iron and steel. Steel and iron are not too complex to make, but building and manufacturing factory is very costly. It is very expensive. And once Japan succeeded in producing the steels of their own, they advanced to the fourth wave, which is automobiles. Japan started making automobiles using their domestic steel. Automobiles are more complex because they need robots to put things together. So they must hire mechanical engineers to build the cars. Consequently, the production of automobiles opened many gateways for other industries, such as logistics, rubber production to make tires, silicone production for the glass, and leather for the seats. Finally, Japan approached the fifth wave and conquered electronics through its rapid innovative growth. The production of electrical devices required highly trained computer scientists and robots to operate on small materials such as microchips. Therefore, Japan progressed from low-quality, cheaper product to a more expensive and more complex and innovative product over time. And according to the second indicator of the comparative advantage, the wave of a particular industry show how countries will progress and develop by following the Japanese footprint. Japan will develop first, and other countries will follow. Respectively, the second group of Asian nations to develop after Japan are the NIEs, which are Hong Kong, Singapore, Taiwan, and South Korea. NIE stands for Newly Industrialized Economy, can be used to describe middle-income countries whose growth is usually higher than other developing countries, where industrialization and urbanization are reorganizing the society. According to the waves, after the NIEs, we have the ASEAN in the third wave, followed by China in the fourth wave, and finally Vietnam and India in the fifth wave.
Hello guys, my name is Hamarin, and here's move to my part. In the Flying Geese model, the geese represented as the Asian nation. As seen the picture, the leading geese in Japan because they the strongest player in the film. Japan worked the hardest to penetrate new innovative industry by breaking the wind to make it easy for other nations to fly, forming a V-shaped formation for other geese to follow. This is the idea of Asian nations working together, hence the cooperative will help Asian catch up with the race. Likewise, the setback of being the first country in the wave is that the process is very costly to develop new product because it costs a lot of money to research and build infrastructure. But if the country is in the back of the wave, it's easier to copy and duplicate leading country. However, the hardship of the first country allow it to have higher wave, better quality of life, access to product and good advancement, and the citizens receive a bigger advantage compared to other countries. According to Akamatsu culture development passes, country must import goods by exporting raw material or less complex product. Start simple and advance over time. Organize the product of the formerly import goods, use local capital. And the last point is start importing those goods and importing machinery. Here is the end of my part. Thank you so much for your pay attention.
Hello everyone, my name is Kimai. After the war, the structure of the cotton industry became more integrated when a full vertical line of the production covering spinning, knitting, weaving, dyeing, finishing garment design making took place in Hong Kong. Likewise, the production of the plastic, metalware, watches, and electronic appear as technology advanced so sophisticated components were made locally. As a result, enterprises began to integrate upstream and downstream production processes. However, for the main raw material and state-of-art technology, Hong Kong was still dependent on import from overseas. Another example was the plastic industry. PVC factory supplied plastic film to a factory that made handbags and swim articles. Paint factory supply paint for use in many different kinds of industries such as furniture, toys, and electronic fans. Furthermore, plastic factory supply parts for garment, wear, and toys. Moreover, electronic factory supply parts for toy, watches, clothes, and electrical appliances.
Hello everyone, my name is Wu Cheng Heng and I will be relating the Akamatsu model to Hong Kong. Let's take a look at Hong Kong. In the 1950s, Hong Kong enjoyed an economic revival based on light industries such as textiles. Driven by the great demands in the export markets, Hong Kong seized the opportunity and resumed production very quickly. Many factory owners returned to Hong Kong after the war to restart production, and despite the shortage of materials in the early days, in a few years' time only, its manufacturing industries were already moving ahead. Nevertheless, the basis of Hong Kong's economy remained its trade, and in 1947, Hong Kong produced goods constituted only 10% of total export volume. The types of industries after the war differed significantly from before. With the progress of technology and changes in lifestyle, the production of rubber products, torches, and patent medicines, which had dominated before the war, gradually declined, and industries such as textiles, garments, plastics, watches, and electronics took their places as pillars of the manufacturing sector. Some of the Shanghai industrialists established textile factories in Hong Kong, bringing with them new technologies in spinning and, as a result, weaving and dyeing and finishing as well as garment making also developed quickly, and an integrated vertical production line of cotton goods arose. Plastics was a new raw material widely researched during the World War II and after the war. Chemical enterprises in Europe and America supplied it to Hong Kong, leading to the rise in the production of plastic toys, flowers, articles of everyday use, etc. However, Hong Kong not only lacked raw materials for industrial development, it also lacked advanced technological know-how, so that its industries constantly remained at the processing and assembling levels. Between the 1960s and 1970s, industrialization took off and more production processes were in place. Take textiles as an example. Before the war, cotton weaving factories used cotton yarn imported from abroad. Simple products like vests and socks were made. Fabrics woven in local factories were produced mainly for export, and the local garment industry was relatively undeveloped.
In addition, the manufacturer of the food, panda medicine, and article for daily use focused on local consumer, building up their own brand name to establish their market niche. All in all, Hong Kong industry was founded in the textile sector in 1950, before gradually diversifying in 1960 to textile, which is clothing, chemical, which is plastic, paint factory, iron, steel, manufacturing, steel factory, battery, electronic watches, and a part of electronic device. From the mid-1950s, Hong Kong's rapid success as a textile and garment exporter generated trade friction that resulted in a voluntary export restrict in a series of treaties with the UK. Beginning in 1959, despite this agreement, Hong Kong exporters continued to exploit their flexibility and adaptability to increase production and find a new market.
Initiatives are another way to boost Hong Kong's economy that reflects the city's evolution from labor intensive factories to innovation and technology focused industries over the decades. In the 1950s and 60s, entrepreneurs tapped a fast growing supply of manpower to turn Hong Kong into a global manufacturing and export hub. Currently, manufacturing in Hong Kong has transformed thanks to big leaps in technology. There is now demand for high quality design and customization, while the focus has shifted to increasing the value of products instead of simply lowering costs. As a result, these trends open a pathway for manufacturing return to Hong Kong as part of the city's ongoing pursuit of innovation. The high-end manufacturing, advanced manufacturing, automation, or plentiful of digital support will generate a wealth of new business opportunities, high-skilled employment, and promising future for Hong Kong. Hong Kong Science and Technology Parks Corporation reindustrialization effort aims to create a new economic growth engine for Hong Kong by using IT to help companies and startups while also supporting established manufacturers in adopting new technologies to upgrade and transform their business. Likewise, Hong Kong made products have long been received with high confidence by consumers around the world.
Hello everyone, this is Wu Cheng again, and I will be covering the last part of the topic. There are many manufacturing activities in Hong Kong, such as textile and clothing production, which contributes about one third of the value of domestic exports. The electronics industry is the second largest export earner. Moreover, there are some heavy industries such as shipbuilding and repair and aircraft engineering, plus steel rolling, production of machine parts and plastics, and cement manufacturing serve local needs. It must be noted that factories are a rare sight in Hong Kong, which experienced one of the world's most rapid deindustrialization. In the 1970s, manufacturing share of the economy went from more than 30% to only 1% today. Now, after many years of positioning the territory as the front office of mainland China and prioritizing financial and business services, Hong Kong's leadership is offering billions of dollars in subsidies to lure factories back. Their goal is to revive an economy that was stagnating even before the coronavirus pandemic and help provide well paying jobs for young people. The pandemic has underlined the benefits of having a robust manufacturing sector. Across much of the world, industrial production has rebounded quickly, but services are taking longer to recover because customers continue to stay at home. In the US and Europe, governments are promising to reverse decades of offshoring that hollowed out line industries, while at the same time guaranteeing support for emerging ones, such as green power. Furthermore, advances in automation are making it cost effective for companies to shift some production from low wage locales to higher cost ones. Hong Kong sees the reindustrialization drive as key to meeting its goal of increasing spending on R&D for new products to 1.5% of GDP by 2022. The centerpiece of that effort is the Advanced Manufacturing Center, a 1.1 million square foot facility scheduled to open next year and meant to relieve a chronic shortage of space for startup companies. Lastly, to enhance the role of the local technology sector, universities and research institutions in Hong Kong have been allowed to apply for science and technology funding from the central government and use the funding for research in Hong Kong since mid 2018. The arrangements on cross boundary remittance of research funding to Hong Kong encourage local technology talents to collaborate with the mainland and participate in major technology missions of the country.
In conclusion, as part of the NIEs, Hong Kong followed the Flying Geese model. Hong Kong kick-started the economy by establishing industries of simple products such as textile and garment, then proceeded to shift towards the more complex production of goods and is now one of the biggest technological hub in Asia. Hong Kong is set to further capitalize on its advantage in R&D capabilities, technological infrastructure, legal system, and intellectual property.